into indiscipline, corruption, and poor public conduct, which we have oftentimes seen with the Nigerian police force, because when it comes to promotion and appointments, it usually don't go with regards to merit and competence, and that is why you continue to see impunity, abuse of office, and what have you. So, without clarity and confidence at the top, crime response may be slowed, coordination may be weakened, public confidence may drop, but people have attested to the professionalism of the Tunji Disu that was appointed. Many are giving thumbs up because they have attested that he's a professional police officer who has distinguished himself among rank and file. But then, citizens are not asking for miracles. They want visible, measurable actions, including respect for the rule of law, enforcement of human rights standards, reduce political interference for representations in leadership, accountability for police misconduct. Failure to address this will deepen public distrust and disengagement.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, right. Now, what you've raised a couple of questions. One of such is the fact that you only see leadership change, but you don't see a reform coming in sight. And you've also raised the question or an issue that borders around regionalism, where only persons from a certain region are being appointed to such positions, and it has not aligned with a federal character commission. And you've also pointed out certain other aspects, and some concerns the Nigerians might have. But there is one concern again that is still bordering, is still ticking. Now, if you recall that the likes of Frank Mba, who is of course still in the police force now, got elevated even above most of his rank and file at the time, and it was due to a vacancy within the southeastern. There was a vacancy, and it needed a southeastern.
Oh, yes.
Right.
With regards to federal character.
Beautiful. So many Nigerians are saying, where is the federal character now? Because now that Egbetokun indeed resigned, it means there is also a vacancy. And whether or not it is a southwesterner, a northeasterner, a northwesterner, or a southerner, Nigerians are still willing to say, we'll put it to rest. The real issue will be what reforms will be there. But there are some talks that go around and saying that, look, it does seem as though the likes of Frank Mba or the DIGs who enlisted on the same day as Tunji Disu, by the way, may be forced to retire. I mean, considering their nuances in their career progressions and their seniority and all of that. And how will the Nigeria Police Force address the perceived imbalance in promotion criteria? I mean, where geopolitical zones may influence appointments over merit and years of service. And then finally, of course, it will also be about where are we going? What implications? Where are we going?
The transition is not about Egbetokun or this, is about the soul of Nigerian policing, national cohesion, and democratic stability. If federal character and professionalism and accountability are ignored, then this change will be remembered as another missed opportunity. But if the new leadership confront these concerns head on, it could mark the beginning of a credible reset for policing in Nigeria. You understand? Of course, there is a fact that Frank Mba had a rapid promotion.
Yeah.
And before you get to promotion, there are always certain responsibilities, exercises that are expected in form of interviews, examinations, etc., etc. And it's only when you pass it that you will be considered for that particular post. Meaning that even from that region where you come from, there are others who also engage in the same what you engage in, believing God or trusting God that they will succeed, but then you are considered. So in the line of leadership, the Frank Mba is not the only DIG that is there. There are even more senior DIGs like Yahya and the rest that are ahead of him when it comes to rank and file or seniority, when it comes to service. understand? So to me, we have seen successive governments from time of Obasanjo, even Obasanjo tried in the mixture. Let's say with immediate predecessor to this particular administration, that is late President Mohamed Buhari, Penchat in favoring people from his zone with regards to IGP, and it appears that this particular government have also indulged in the same pattern, and that really has not really helped security system that we have been fighting. Making every frantic effort to see how we can reduce the suffering of the Nigerian people against the insurgents, criminals, and terrorists. If we continue to, prefer political loyalty ahead of competence and merit or national cohesion, it will continue. Insecurity will continue to haunt us.
Okay.
It will continue to haunt us. So I don't think that replacement of Tunji was maybe to it was they said to be maybe because IG Bochoku is from Southwest, therefore it must be that replacement must come from Southwest. No, I do not think so.
Okay.
Honestly.
Okay. Well, let's look at, let's open the phone lines as well, because there are some other thoughts that are very, very critical to the discourse this morning, because there are some expectations that Nigerians have of Disu in terms of security improvements. Can he really do it? Nigerians are expecting improved security measures under Disu's leadership. And in fact, there are all the questions that border around whether Disu will prioritize community policing. If you also recall that Kayode Egbetokun was not a very, very big fan of state policing. I mean, he made it clear on several occasions. Even when the president had said, I think I'm throwing my weight behind this, Egbetokun has always said that we are not ready, that we don't have the structures yet, that we are not ready to engage state policing. But now he's out of the way. Will Disu enforce that? Is that what's going to help us, especially in tackling the insecurity that we find in the society today in Nigeria? Well, questions are rising. 0907-353-0044. That's the number to stick to. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Yuji.
Good morning to you, Turkenby.
The voice of the one crying in the wilderness. My name is Tunji Disu. Yes,
right.
I agree. Yes, they are spoken so well. I want to quickly say that the police are not equipped at the moment to tackle the security challenges. As you can see. So I'm not expecting a new Inspector General of Police to perform miracles. Yes, and also the police do not have enough personnel at all. The police need at least to recruit thousands of men and women, thousands of officers, and that's not happening. So the police are not equipped at the moment. The police don't have enough personnel, and so on and so on. And the few police officers on the ground are not.
Turkenby, can you hear me? Turkenby, can you hear me?
Yes.
Seems like you're speaking far from your phone. You might want to come close.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please be audible. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that the police are not equipped to fight the security challenges, honestly. And the police, the few number of them are not motivated enough. So if there's anything I'm expecting from this measure of police, who have, if he has not been appointed, he only have 47 days to retire. Yes, if not for the fact that he has given this job, he would have retired in the next 7 days. Yes. So I'm expecting him to motivate the men on ground. If he's not going to recruit more men, have more men, if he's not going to be equipped his officers, let him motivate them. Like the man in the NFD, is motivating, his men, Buba Marwa, is motivating his men on ground. The IG of police can do the same. So I'm expecting him to motivate his men. And again, I'm expecting him to discipline some bad police officers. I have a lot of police officers who are behaving like children, who are drunk, on duty. They are drunk. They are misbehaving on the road. So I'm expecting to discipline them. I'm expecting him to, motivate them. And lastly, why must Tinubu jump other people like Mbappe, who is well qualified, just to tie him to appoint his own brother? You see, the issue of tribalism is what we're talking about. After the outgoing police officer, happen to be from the southwest. So we are expecting that just by virtue of that, people like Mbappe should be given the opportunity to serve. But if that is the case,
all right,
we must continue with it. Thank you very much.
Appreciate. Well, here we go again. Mba is coming up again, but it might also interest you to know that Mba and Tunji Disu indeed joined the force on the same day, right? And Mba, if we were to compare Mba to Disu, we would have said he should be even a junior, but Providence thought otherwise. Well, comrade, what are your thoughts in this?
Yes, you are very right with regards to both of them joining police force on the same day, and but then joining does not translate into ranking or promotion. What makes Nigerian police officers to get promotion is the competence, merit, and the activities that you have carried out as a police officer. How many crimes you've been able to bust. And we see it has a lot of involvement with regards to promotion. It's not just because you join on so day, and therefore everything that you're met at the end of so day you must be let my people go. They push you up there. No, I do not think so. Okay. But then the question we are asking now is this: from some of us in the civil society, Putin, Tunji, will he raise the accountability test with regard to human rights records? Just last week, there was a judgment against the Nigerian police force that was obtained by Chiwere when you saw the CP in Lagos, acting like a lord, with total disregard to rule of law, when he declared citizens personal or grantor and wanted for no just reason, when he doesn't have that right, he has not gone to court to obtain anything. And there was a judgment in that regard, which apart from condemning the actions of the police, awarded I think 30 million naira to Shiwere, and lambasted the just resigned IGP, who continues to raise one charge or the other against Shiwere almost on a monthly or two basis. Will this transition improve the accountability test? Will it reduce unlawful detention? Can it enhance adherence to constitutional policing and improve punishment of officers involved in torture, extortion, and extrajudicial actions? This campaign we are carrying out against Tiger Days in Owerri, where I don't know whether even the famous Abatua under SACS then is far better earlier than what they are doing there with regards to manning humanity to man, torture, killings, missing persons that are taking place in that command. Will we translate to accountability? Anything less will worsen trust deficit. Will it impact on morals within the police force rank and file officers and watching signals from top to bottom? Will it improve their welfare? Will promotion be on merit or merit based? Will political orders from above still override the law? Clear direction could improve morale. Confusion could deepen discipline, because if we begin to do where person comes from, certainly indiscipline will continue to be an increase in the police force. So policing thrives on public cooperation. If citizens perceive the new leadership as transparent, responsive, law-abiding, then intelligence flow improves. If not, communities will continue to withhold cooperation, undermining security nationwide. It shouldn't be where you expect empathy, solidarity, intervention, you begin to see denials, accusations, counter-accusations, or what have you, as you have observed in Kwara, continuous killing field and kidnapping, as we have observed in Kaduna, as we have observed in Katsina, as we have observed in Zamfara, etc., etc. It shouldn't be when issues are raised. Instead of being proactive, working towards to ensure stability and safety, we begin to be daily over it. So what Nigerians expect going forward is clear reform agenda, not rhetoric. Respect for rule of law and human rights. Under Ebotoku, we obtained judgments against Nigerian police force when a journalist was gruesomely murdered at the Begaran Dabas here in Abuja, carrying his constitutional duty during sharp protests. Up to date, that judgment has not been honored and the family continues to suffer. I have said it time and time again. Will he improve those things? Professional handling of protests and dissent. Will there be reduced political capture of the police? Measurable improvement in security outcomes? So these are some of the things that we are expecting from the police. If not, it will be just a change of face in the same system. Are we going to continue to see divisions that are acting with impunity? You go there, they say you cannot go inside except you drop your phone outside. That is to tell you that that place is very, very corrupt. They always see themselves against maybe a majority of the people against the police. So if you are coming, there is anticipation that we are against them. When police supposed to be the best friend of the citizens. As of today, how many people can be traveling and get stranded and go to police station to sleep? There are a lot of reforms we expect that police will embark upon. It becomes really friend of the citizens. If you have issues, you can easily go there without being implicated or have one issue or the other. So it's a test of political will, a test of police independence, and a test of whether Nigeria is ready for service-oriented policing.
All right. Well, still opening the phone lines now and hearing from you. You can join the conversation. What do you think about the assistant IG now, AIG, who's been appointed by Mr. President? I'm talking about Tunji Disu, and favored to be the IGP. What do you see any changes? Do you think there will be any reforms whatsoever? Do you think that the breach of trust that has been destroyed, vandalized, using atomic bomb or whatever bomb to destroy that breach, do you think it can be a breach, can be put together again, it can be amended, it can be brought back to life? Can we get back to the days when we say that police is my friend? The number will be 0907 353 0044, because quite a number of persons are saying this is the golden opportunity for a police reform. You miss it now, you miss it for a long time. Hello, good morning. Hello? Hello? All right, do well to call back already and add your voice. The conversation is also streaming live, Pari Passu, the radio conversation on here, because we give you an audio, visual, television, radio experience that you can count on Facebook at Eagles FM Abuja, and on YouTube at Eagles TV Abuja. Get on there and see for yourself the ambience that we provide, and do well to also show some support by hitting the bell button there and subscribing to the channel. You can as well connect with us across every other social media platform at Eagles FM Abuja. Take us everywhere around the world, www.eaglesfm.com. That's how you can also take a listen. And we are seeing this message right here via the WhatsApp. This one is coming from James. James says, UD, good morning, and good morning to your guests. Good morning to you too, James. It says, I am flabbergasted by the continuous politics that is played when it comes to electing, selecting, or appointing certain officers into certain positions. As far as I'm concerned, this is politics in play, and there is nothing that anybody can do about it. The guest has said it all. He says, look, this is only a change in leadership does not really mean that it will become a change in the practice of the police. Go on the roadways and see what the police are doing. The collecting bribes, corruption everywhere within the police force, and yet we are here talking about what reforms Tunji will bring. I don't see anything Tunji would bring. In fact, it says it will be a miracle if Tunji put out any reform whatsoever. I believe that his appointment is in view of 2027, and we will all see the way it plays out. Well, James, okay, James has said quite a lot there. I mean, comrade, I don't know. I don't know how you're going to react to this.
It's a well-known fact. It's not as if maybe one is just cooking up something from the space. No, it is a well-known fact that whenever changes occur with regards to the police leadership, certain expectations or hopes are raised, but at the end of the day, it turns out to be business as usual. We expect that as of today, a new leadership has emerged, but it's in an acting capacity, which we, one way or the other, affect long-term reforms. If we are to make him a substantive IG, the process should, quickly commence. His name should be forwarded to the National Assembly to do the needful. That is confirmation. But then, if you continue to leave him with regards to acting IG, it will affect long-term security, which we discourage both reforms and encourage wait and see behavior among commanders. A situation where you will give directive, they will not work on it with the precision. They will be dilly-dallying about it, waiting for confirmation whether he will still stay or not. So we need, in fact, this act of acting, we should see how we can amend the Police Act or even the Constitution to see that even if you are placed on acting capacity, you shouldn't act more than 2 weeks or 1 month so that you will confirm or remove. It shouldn't be that you act and stay there for months, whereby it will be affecting the long-term security of the nation. So I think change of leadership honestly do not translate yet, but people have really said a lot of good things about this officer, Tunji Disu. But you can be a good person, but it does not translate into leadership.
So
because it takes courage, it takes political will, it takes determination, it takes support and cooperation of the public for you to succeed in any reform you are engaging in.
Now,
if maybe you don't have that acceptability, from the people, no matter the level of reforms you are bringing, people will be thwarting it, because people will not be, giving you the necessary cooperation or information that you need. A situation where you have maybe kind of whistleblower, you expect people to come and report what they see, and they see that they have reported, he was indicted, he was the one where the other, his name was leaked, and those guys come after him. They will not report, he will not report.
Well, there's an angle, comrade. Well, you said that quite a number of people have spoken well about Tunji Disu as being one, or the man of action, if you like. Now, a little biography into him has also shown that Tunji Disu has done well, especially when it comes to community policing. And this is what Nigerians have been yearning for. There has been that conversation that says if we had police that know the terrain, that we would not be having the type of crimes that we have, the abductions, the arbitrary kidnappings and all of that, the terrorism going on. At least in their own ways, they would have been able to gather intel enough to nip these people in the bud and make arrest. But he has been one who has engaged community policing for quite some time. Do you think that he's in a better stance when it comes to state policing for Nigeria? Would he do better than if Egbetokun were there? And do you think this is a structural change that should allow for one who indeed has the competence to put together such type of policing in the country to come into position?
You see, when it comes to state policing, it's way beyond IGP powers to decide. It's not even the one that will decide whether we will embark on state policing or not. You understand? It's purely issue of constitution. It's purely issue of legislation. If those at the National Assembly do their homework very, very well, and then it's approved and the president signs it. It's not issue of whether IG is a fan of state policing or not. I think the real issue here is our political will, our determination to do the right thing. You understand? And you know that state policing is a form of restructuring that we have been yearning for, because it gives power to states to prosecute. Today, states can recruit vigilantes, give it different names, whether Motoku, Bugago, whatever name you can give it, but they are lacking prosecutorial powers. So what it simply means, if you catch a criminal, you still return them back to police to prosecute. You understand? Okay. And because it's an act of showing that citizens do not have faith in the policing system. That is why you begin to see even governors that are supposed to empower the security architectures, like a police civil defense, deciding to set up its own security form of vigilantes. That's because they are losing faith in the system. They are losing trust in the system. And that is what is even increasing militia groups among the communities, increasing jungle justice. You know, a situation whereby maybe you succeed in getting a criminal and you expect justice will be done, and at the end of the day it's been thwarted. What do you think will happen? When next an armed robber is caught, instead of sending him to police, you see people taking laws into their hands. And these are one of the things that fuel instability and insecurity. You begin to see an eye for an eye. And that has made a lot of innocent people to die. So it's not whether the IG is a fan of community policing or not. You understand? Of course, as an IG, he has some rules to play where it comes to issue of voting of officers. You know, where he can do very well. Maybe if he sees that this person is Hausa speaking person, send him to Hausa land to go and the police. If you see him is a Yoruba speaking person, send him to Yoruba land to go and police. If you see as an Igbo person, send him. Instead of just stagger the posting, where they struggle to work because the lack of understanding of the cultural heritage of those people, the lack of understanding of their religious belief, the lack of understanding of the terrain affects the policing. So I think maybe that line he will do a lot of good, but then he has nothing to do still with regards to decision on community policing.
Well, before now we've been talking corruption within the police force. Do you ever think that we can indeed tackle the issue of corruption within the police force? And if we do, what implication will that have on the society?
Yes, we can actually tackle corruption. There are many ways you can tackle corruption. First and foremost is to improve the welfare of the officers. You know, if you go around the country, you know, all the divisions or even where police are staying, you will shake your head. You know, their welfare have not been prioritized. If we begin to pay our police officers very well, the way they pay those in customs, those maybe NIA, DSS or CIA and the rest, police will be performing wonders. Even those in the ESCC receive more payment than the Nigerian police force. So if we begin to prioritize their welfare, pay them very well, at least in 6 figures, digit figures. Say maybe the minimum in Nigerian police officer is paying 400,000 naira, even if he's a recruiter today.
Regardless of qualification.
Yes. If you reduce bribery, they will be contented. Even if there's no perfect arrangement, but the issue of corruption will reduce, because once they know that they can easily pay the school fees of their children, take care of their rentage, take care of their needs, primary needs. That is a starting point with regards to character maintenance. But when you are being paid peanuts, I'm coming you when you are being paid peanuts, say for example you are being paid 70,000 or 65, as the case may as that today with your minimum wage you have is 70,000. You are being paid 70,000. And under that 70,000, by the time they begin to do a lot of calculation, whether pension, this, insurance, that, health, this, health, that, and at the end of the day, what you get it to you may be around 50,000 or 50-something thousand. You talk about transportation and what have you. You will be, that 50-something thousand will not take care of you for 1 week. And you still have another 3 weeks to go in that month. So if you result into you looking for ways to meet up, which ordinarily majority of them don't want to indulge in that kind of thing, but they find themselves there. A situation where you go to police office, to register a complaint, and you are asked to pay or buy a sheet because there's no provision for that. If as of today now they are presenting defending budget up and down, maybe Nigerian Police Force budget is, say for example, is 800 billion, and if you will be surprised that at the end of the year they will not even see 30% of that their budget proposal. What do you think will happen? You have issue of armed robbery, attacking your estate or your community, your home. You call them, they tell you don't have fuel. What do you think will happen? So these are some of the things that fuel.
Yeah.
Corruption and
a legit source has also informed me that these things that we mentioned, just like the sheets, the stationery, and all of that, that they are already in the budget and that they're allocated. But for some reason or the other, it doesn't get to the grassroots police, maybe DPO and all of that, and it's becoming a concern. And it goes back to the corruption that we are talking about. And then the thoughts that if we were to give the least officer maybe 400,000 naira, some have argued that it will not still stop corruption if there are no stiffer penalties, for offenders.
Yes, certainly there will be penalties for offenders. For example, we have some time ago discussed about police brutality, and the discussion we mentioned names like the one that happened in Buhari area council, where the name of the DPO Babayola was mentioned. As somebody who shot, and because of shooting, lives were lost, people were permanently injured. I think in this act, if we can look at whatever consequences or compensation or whatever you are doing should be carried out from the person's salary directly and not generally put on the police force. If you are demoting such a person or maybe removing such a person or tackling such a person, you should make it public. If you are sending the person for prosecution or sending to jail to see, to serve as deterrent to others, you make it public. But then, I strongly believe that it will, of course, it will not end it totally. That if you pay Nigerian police force very well, give them conducive environment to work, issues of bribery and corruption will reduce. Take another example. Many Nigerian police officers that have opportunity to go and do one course or the other abroad, or maybe have related policing, either in the ECOWAS or UN or Commonwealth or what have you, they come out with flying colors. More than even those in the developed country, because their welfare has already been secured. Once they look at their account and say, okay, man, I'm receiving whatever I'm receiving, whether in form of tackle or what TP or whatever it is, in dollars, and they run the millions that if I come back, the project that I have for what I say is I've not been able to do, I will do it with ease. Professionalism will improve. That is a fact.
So you believe the NPF is underfunded, and Tunji Disu should look into proper funding for the NPF.
Funding is centered on government. I have given you a classical example. Yes, you said that issue of stationaries are captured in the budget. Yes, but if it's captured, for example, you show both salaries, oversight and what have you, it's 100 naira, and at the end of the year, what you receive as IG, as Nigerian Police Force, is 30 naira. What will you do with it?
So you're saying it's not from the IG, it's from the institution, from the government itself.
If they say they need 100 naira and 100 naira is given to them, that's when you begin to question them. So when they say they need 100 naira and at the end of the year you are giving them 15 naira, what do you think they will do? They will concentrate in paying salaries.
Okay, I get that.
There's no way they will leave the salary they will pay and begin to dabble into compensation, dabble into buying of stationaries, dabble into fueling of the cars, dabble into maintenance of the vehicles. Rather, they will begin to give instruction to division to provide means to maintain their division. And that is where we begin to see this issue of community policing, where you have PCRC.
Okay, so it's okay. We just lost the connection with comrade right there. What, if I understand him correctly, it's not really about the NPF in itself having a reform. It's not about the change of leadership. It's about the governments showing the will, political will, in ensuring that the NPF in itself gets what it deserves to run. So that way, when they do not perform, you and I can indeed talk to them, point fingers at them, not in accusation per se, not because we are trying to criticize them, but to critique them. And by critiquing, of course, it means that we give them also an avalanche of ideas and suggestions as to what they can do and what they must do given the information that we have. But when information becomes shrouded by the mist of shadowy figures and all whatnot, what do you expect of Nigerians? Speculation becomes the order of the day. Misinformation, disinformation, and others become the issue and the spectacle. But let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best and support the AIG should he become the IGP in his course, in his quest, in his new appointment as AIG at the moment, in ensuring that we will have a better police, maybe one that we can be proud of, maybe one that when we see the black uniform, we won't already say we wouldn't accredit it or attribute it to downfall and destruction, but we will see it as the black African skin and the black African power or Nigerian power, the will to be even in the dark, wearing the black uniform, should still become something of light in dissuading, in ensuring that insecurity is brought to a standstill, considerably so. Well, thank you, Comrade Gerald, though. And thank you to you two for being a part of this one. We'll come back at the 10 o'clock hour with a general open banter after we go to pay some bills. But for now, it will be the business news. But I also add that the views expressed by the guest and caller are absolutely theirs and not influenced by Eagles 102.3 FM, Abuja.